friends, this is Erin with Yet Untold, and this is a flip through of my July, my one book July journal slash planner, and kind of just a rundown of everything I've been doing in my journals for the month of July. Not everything, but an overview. So this will probably be a pretty long video and quite chatty. So if you don't, get into that, or you don't have time for that right now, save this for later or move along, because this is gonna be, it's probably gonna be a long one. Okay, so I have been in this book just since July, like the beginning of July, and while I haven't been as good at like putting stuff out into the world, I've been working in this daily. I think every day. I think absolutely every day. And it's so good for me and my mental health, and just with everything going on, it has been a lifesaver. So this is the cover. I collaged it. I have it in a clear Midori MD A5 cover. I have it in my homemade traveler's notebook. So this is what I carry around with me. And let me just give you a quick rundown of what I use it for. So on this overview, yearly overview page, I have been putting down what my daughter is currently doing, because she's a baby. So there's a lot of milestones that are happening. And this is a great place for me to just write a quick note about that, just to have it in one place. I am going to write big things that happen in the month up here. We, had to be tested for COVID because my husband was probably exposed to it. We're tested negative, but that was kind of a weird thing to do. And I write down some things about my son down here, just kind of an overview of what he's working on and what he's doing. So it's kind of a nice, like, if I just want to figure out what happened in July, or just, when did something happen, I can just kind of look at this. I'll probably go back and fill these in at the end of the month, just, the big things that happened. For my monthlies, I am writing down big events, and it's kind of an overview, like kind of a content planner. I've been writing down when I post or upload YouTube videos and Instagram posts. I have not been very good at getting them out there. So, like, I was just looking, and I think I only have 5 Instagram posts for the month of July, which is just really sad. But it's okay. I mean, it's not that sad. It's just, I was really going to focus on getting out there in July, and I didn't. But I showed up for myself. So that's a big deal. That's probably more important anyway. So I'm fine with that. But anyways, it's kind of like an overview. I don't look at this all the time, maybe once a week or so. And then for my weeklies, they're just kind of a disaster. Sometimes a beautiful disaster, and other times just a disaster. This page is kind of nice. I made these little spots that I'm either going to put in my shop or offer in my newsletter for free. That's a good thing to sign up for, by the way. If you want to receive some free printables, I send them out in my newsletters or my emails when I do send them out. I haven't sent one out in a while, and I do plan on doing that in August. So go to yetuntold.com or at yetuntold on Instagram and find that sign up link, and I'll put it down below. Okay, so anyways, this is just daily kind of little to-do lists, and then I just write a quick recap of the day, just whatever happened I haven't done it this week, but I try to kind of put like the focus or the goals for the week over here. It's working okay. I mean, I'm not doing a ton of planning because I haven't been, first of all, working a whole lot other than outside of just taking care of my kids and poorly taking care of my home. But I feel like every time I write something down in here to do right now, I just don't do it. So I've kind of stopped I've stopped pre-planning, I guess. And just, I go with the flow. My son helped me decorate this page. I think it's quite beautiful. All right, so those are the weeklies. They're kind of my planner, I guess. And then my dailies are more of a creative journal. This is the overview, or like I think it's called Turn the Page or something, but it's just like a spread for, I think, putting your intentions for the next 6 months. So I did a little kind of a vision board-ish sort of thing. And this is the July intro page. I don't know. And I put in a little, this is a drawing I did on vellum ages ago. And so I just stuck it in here and made it sort of a divider. I might do that every month. I might not. Who knows? I probably won't. I'm not good at being consistent with things like that. I did do a journal with me when I did this page. If you're interested in seeing that, this has a fun, like, little fold out, like all these tip-ins. Because for a very brief time, we had a hermit crab. And so I documented that. I was still trying to figure out what to actually put on these pages. I printed out some images from the shows that we were watching. Obviously this one was for me and my husband, and this one was with my kids. I was going to physical therapy every week for a while for my neck. It's no big deal. I heard it a while back and it's fine. And I received an order from Jet Pens, actually specifically for stuff to use in this journal that I ordered before July. And so it's kind of fun little packaging and stuff. And then on the 4th of July, even though it's hard to like get out and do things these days, we wanted to do something. So we went to the Savannah National Wildlife Refuge, and it's kind of like a drive-through tour thing. You can stay in your car and just drive through and look at the animals. There weren't a lot out because it was like the heat of the day, but we did see a couple alligators, and that's always fun. And we saw a bunch of birds. So I put the map in here. And then I decided that it would be a fun kind of series for me to do, that on Sundays I write out a dream that I have. So the dream meaning like a goal or just an idea for my future, something that I'm hoping for, or that I would like to accomplish. So not a literal like dream that I have at night when I'm sleeping. So because those things are usually private, I put these large pieces of paper, so some kind of pretty image down. And I've actually devised this method that keeps it feeling very private to me. I don't tip it in. I just tape it down, like 2 strips of tape on one end of it, so it actually holds it down. It doesn't like flop around. Does that make sense? But it holds it down, and I have to lift it up like this. And then in this one I did like a double tip in sort of thing. And then I even put more washi to hold it down. So if I want to read that, I can get in there and read it. But otherwise it feels very secure. I don't worry that it's gonna fly open or anything like that. So I'm loving that idea. It helps me to write without censoring myself. So, yeah, that's working out. And then on Mondays in this journal, I've been taking a day, a page to kind of write out some thoughts about my business and goals and things. And originally it was goals for the week, and I'm just not that organized right now. So it's morphed into I don't know what, but it's kind of like Mondays are business days. And so, you know, I put in this tip in that I, you know, I covered some things up that I might not want you to see. Oftentimes when I do stuff for my business, I feel like it's private until I, like put it out into the world. I don't know if everybody feels that way, but I do. It's like I'm creating behind the scenes and I'm not ready to share yet. So yeah. Oh, and another thing that I've been doing is I got these tiny little sticker tabs from Jet Pens. They're made by Midori and they have different colors. Actually, I'll just show them to you. Let's see. They're in here. They look like this. They're little, and I'll try to remember to link them below. But anyways, I've been putting them on the Mondays. So it doesn't really matter to me if Monday's on this side or this side. I just stick a little tab on the page and that helps me kind of keep track of the weeks. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's 4 on here so far, 4 weeks. And I don't know how much I'll use that, but I like it. I think it's gonna look cool because it's like rainbow order, and it will ideally help me to get to my business planning pages, if that makes sense. Okay, so on this day, I stuck down a printout of some art that I was inspired by, and this is by Rosie Lee Tompkins. It's a quilt. It's really cool. You should look her up. And I did the Hobonichi challenge for this day, which was a satellite. This particular satellite is a zombie satellite. I didn't even know there was such a thing. But apparently as they like kind of die, I guess, they get further and further away from Earth. And they're just like out far away, floating around. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. And this is my least favorite spread that I've done so far. And this is a great thing about doing daily journaling like this, is that I'm learning a lot about myself. It's forcing me to practice every day or nearly every day. I find that like stuff that I think is cute that other people use is not necessarily for me. So, okay, so like this thing here is an advertisement that I got from scrapbook.com when I placed an order for some paper. It had the information in the middle, and I just cut that out, cut around the butterfly and the mushrooms, and stuck it in here. And I think it's really cute. I think that if I saw it in somebody else's journal, I would think, oh, that's cute. But in my journal, it doesn't make sense. So does that make sense to you? Like I think of Sarah Martinez when I look at this, because, hi Sarah, if you see this, but she loves maps and butterflies and mushrooms and green, and I'm like, look at that, that's Sarah, but it's not Erin. And so that's something I'm learning, is that even if I do it over and over again, just do me, just do what I like. Don't just put something in there because you think it's cute, but really just, I don't know, rework these things that bring me joy and bring something out of me creatively. And you know, I tried to do some lettering from the book that I finished, The Monster in the Hollows. I highly recommend this series by Andrew Peterson. It's called the Wingfeather series. It's like children's novels, so very I wouldn't say light, but like readable, like not too heavy, I guess, for this time. And I finished, there's 4 books. I finished the 3rd book most recently and literally like wept for like the last, I don't know how many. I listened to it. And so like for the last at least 5 minutes, I was just weeping. It was so beautiful. Oh, but it does have a slow start. So if you do start with the first book, just give it some time because it gets better. Anyway, least favorite spread. Okay, so like I said, I was going to physical therapy, so this is just printouts of some of the stretches that they told me to do, and so I just kind of wrote them down. I didn't really have anything going on. I think this is when I started to embrace this as my journal and nobody else's, and so it was whatever I wanted to put in there. It did not have to be, I put memories in the weekly section. Like I write down what we did that day and whatever happened. So I don't have any pressure to put memories on these pages. And when I look back on this, I'm not gonna look necessarily at a particular day for something. I'm gonna just look at the overall, like what life was like in July of 2020 or whenever. And these pages are all going to become one piece of art or like an artifact that I look at as a whole. I hope that makes sense. But there's no pressure for me to make each day like contain everything. So I started just doing like, I'm okay with just like one thing a day, one topic, one, well, you'll see. I'll just show you. But so this was kind of the beginning of that. I was thinking about the elements of design because I would like to do some kind of class on that in regards to journaling. Usually you hear about it with like art, like fine art or graphic design or whatever. I just think it's an interesting thing to think about, so I wrote those things down. This is another one of my Sunday dreaming things, so I have a dream under here. And this is another Monday where I wrote about work. I know that that's not how you spell work. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. And my son cut up some pieces of paper for me. Yeah, so that's that. On this page, I just decided to put a place where I write down things that my son is saying right now. So that's fun. There's still some space, and even if it's, you know, next week or a couple weeks after, I'm fine with coming back and writing it down in here. It doesn't have to be, you know, that timely like that week or whatever. This is kind of a hodgepodge. I did a lot of things that day, which, as you know, is strange to go to a lot of places, but I had to get a haircut. I had to go to the library, physical therapy, ran some errands, and I finished this book, The Testaments. Well, I got it at the library and then finished it later and came back and filled this in. It was a really good book if you're into that. I think you have to be into the first book, The Handmaid's Tale, and maybe the series on Hulu, The Handmaid's Tale series. And I am, and it was very good, just FYI. So a lot of writing these days. And you can tell that I started getting more comfortable with watercolor in here. So watercolor backgrounds, that's basically what I do, is just put down some watercolor. It took me some time to figure out watercolor on the Tomoe River paper in here. It just handles differently than watercolor paper, so it was like a learning curve, but now that I have it down, I am totally in love. And I will probably do kind of a demonstration of exactly how I use watercolor in here, because I've developed my own technique and I like it. So I'll be happy to share that with you. So yeah, I just have a bunch of magazine cutouts that I've been pasting in paper. Like sometimes that's all I do is just find an image and tape it in there. That was the day we got tested, and I just wrote the story about what happened. It was kind of interesting. That's just a journaling page about resting, apparently. One of my best friends, her birthday's this day, and this is another Sunday. So I wrote down a little dream under here. And this is another Monday page, so I've got work stuff under here. Actually, I don't really have that much written down because things are, you know. Oh, and on this page, I started using these fun markers called Zig Clean Color Real Brush that I've had for a while, and I just started trying them in here, and I like how they're water soluble, so you can pull them out, you can play with them. After you put them on the page, you can add water, or like with a water brush, and kind of play and pull them out and do different things, and it's pretty fun. This cracks me up. This is, I think, a cutout from like a Flow magazine, but it's a picture of Sophia Loren, and underneath it said, "Everything you see, I owe to spaghetti." And I have no idea what she was talking about. I don't know much about her, but I thought that was hilarious because every week at this time I am making spaghetti and either making or ordering pizza. And I just feel like, I mean, we're just like constantly eating spaghetti and pizza because it's easy and it's good and it's comforting. And so I thought that was very appropriate. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm just continuing to develop my style. So when I see this page, I think, like this feels so me. I'm doing my messy lettering. I am currently working on, I think it's going to be a Skillshare class called Hand Lettering for Nonconformists. I actually have a Pinterest board for hand lettering for nonconformists that I've had for, I think, years, and I add to it all the time, and I love it. It has so much inspiration if you're looking for that, if you're looking for inspiration. But I'm embracing like me and how I do things. So collaged a little bit, done my big messy lettering, and written, got some watercolor down. I mean, this to me is just, it's magic. I love it. Oh, and I think, does this like ring any bells for you? I have been promising people letters, like, and cards and happy mail and stuff. And I mean it when I say that I'm gonna send it. I really, truly mean it. And I haven't sent out a single thing, and I feel so bad about it. So if you're watching and I have said I'm going to send you something, I will absolutely get to it eventually. But I've been so bad. I even made a little notebook for myself to keep track of things so that I could get it out there. But this is from Little Women. If it's from the book. I guess, I don't know if it's in the new movie, but it's when I won't go into it, but it's from Little Women. If you know, you know. Had a migraine on this day. I guess I felt more productive the next day. This is, let me show you what this is. This marker. It's all in Japanese. They're pretty common, but I can't tell you what it is because it's all in Japanese. But it's a really nice ink that is permanent. Like once it goes down, it's down, and it's almost shiny on this paper. So it must be some kind of either India ink or maybe like, I guess Sumi ink maybe. I don't know. Tell me if you know. Oh, here's another Sunday page. And that's not taped down, so that must not be that private. But, yeah. This is a piece of artwork by Dana Tanamachi. It was at Lady Lodge and Laity, sorry. It always sounds like Lady Lodge. Laity Lodge in Texas when I went last summer. I was supposed to be there again this past weekend, and I'm missing it, so that's in there. Dana Tanamachi is the artist who basically started the chalkboard lettering movement that happened several years ago. So if you recognize her name, oh, and also she did that beautiful Bible, illuminated Bible series from Crossway. She did the artwork in there. I think she and a team of people maybe. That's another one of my kind of work. It's Monday, another one of those tabs. Okay, so these last two pages that I've done, I am completely in love with. I feel like I have really found a sweet spot. There's a lot on these pages, so I don't necessarily, well, let me just go ahead and show you. Like, I'm fine with this being all I do. I don't have to cover it in writing. This to me is like, I can write on it if I want to, or I can just leave it. And I'm happy. I'm also happy with this being covered in writing. Yeah. I mean, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. I have another piece of art that inspires me down here by Valerie Goodwin. It's a cartographic quilt. I have a list of books that I want to read, books and essays and short stories, I think. A quote by Kurt Vonnegut: practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly, not to get money or fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow. I think that's beautiful, and I think it has a lot to say about what's happening in this journal for me. So thought that was appropriate. And I also sometimes just sit in my chair at night and watch YouTube videos, like people journaling and making art journaling, and I just doodle in here. And so there's a lot of, like, I spent a lot of time on this page because I wanted to. Not because I felt like I needed to do all this stuff, but I just wanted to keep going. I don't know, like I couldn't stop on this. It just, this spot needed something in this, you know. And then for these days, so today is the 31st, and I did this morning because I just kind of wanted to get this idea down. It says imperfectionist, because I think that's what I am. I truly love it more when things are not perfect, as far as like art and design go. But that says enough for me. I don't have to write about that. I know what that means. And then I have this little definition down here that I got from Austin Kleon's newsletter this morning. It says estivate, verb. Actually, he didn't write the definition. He just told me about the word, told me personally. He told us about the word estivate. In zoology, it's to pass the summer in a state of torpor or dormancy, or to spend the summer usually at one place. So it's kind of like hibernate, but in summer. And that's it. So essentially, in the month of July, I found myself in this journal. And I am so looking forward to continuing on with this. I'm so happy. I feel like, you know, if I want to paint like in here, then I can. If I want to do something like, oh, I don't know, what's like something like just a simple note. There's like a couple pages where I basically just stuck down a huge image, and that was almost all I did. Anyway, like I'm not having any trouble at all keeping up with this because I usually do the painting do a 2-day spread at one time so it looks cohesive. I go back. I have no problem with going back and filling things in, but I'm also not trying to catch everything. I don't look at it as like it has to be exactly what I was thinking on that day or doing on that day. It's just an overall, like, this is what's happening around this time, and so anything can go on any page, usually, you know. So, loving this. One thing that I have found about it is that it is completely inspiring me now after some work in it. It's completely inspiring my artwork. I have not been painting. I am an artist. I have not been painting except for in my journal for months. I just cannot find the energy or the time or the will power to do it. I have not been inspired in that way until this month. So I just want to show you something that's kind of cool. I did this page and then I was like, okay, I love this. Could be a painting. I love this. And so I recreated it. I actually did it more than once. Like I played with different things, and then I did this and I didn't like this. I figured out why, and I fixed it, and I did this. And I feel like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Like working in a journal as an artist is supposed to kind of catalog your ideas and your inspiration and help you to work out problems so that when you get to the actual work, it's easier. And I've never been good at this process. I've never been a art journaler or like I've just never been good at consistency in these areas. And now that I am being consistent, I do find like it's working so well. It's like magic. I'm so happy. So there, I'm painting again. That's exciting. And then a couple other things before I leave you, I want to show you. So One Book July kind of backfired for me, and I made more books in July than I've had before. But I'm totally okay with that because the project is to kind of get to what works, right? So I'm trying to figure out what works. So I showed this in my other video. It's a work journal. There's not much more to show. It's the same thing. I haven't done much creatively in here. I just write down notes. So if I'm working on a project, I just have a page and I write down stuff. I also have continued in this. I think I said something about a place to just write. This is an old journal of mine I've had for a while. I kind of let it go and I went back to it because it's just a good place to write. So I just write in here. You know, I'm not going to show you because it's my private journal, but sometimes I doodle in here and stuff, but basically it's just private journaling, stream of consciousness, prayers, anything that I'm thinking about goes in here. So that's working well. And then the other thing that I started doing this month that has really it's been magic for me is an art journal. I've never been successful at art journaling. I have tried and tried and tried to start and stop. I've stopped and started in so many journals, and I think that through using the Hobonichi and working out some stuff on those pages, I found that it wasn't enough and I needed more. I needed more, and so I created this. Also, I'm not going to do a full flip through of this right now, but I will tell you that I have been heavily inspired by Betsy Garman for years, and she is on Instagram. I'll link her below. She has a course called Soul Cartography that is all about creating a journal, an art journal, but something where you can use images and words together to work out some really deep things. She explains it so much better if you look into it, but I think that I've always looked at art journaling as something that is a particular style that I'm not necessarily into, and I had to translate that into my style and work out what works for me, what looks good to me, and what speaks to me. And I think I've finally done that. I think I did the work in the Hobonichi, and I'm bringing it over here. It's different in here. I use different materials, heavier materials, and it's not so much, it's like deeper. I will do a flip through this later on. I don't want to get too much into it now, but I'll just kind of, I'm putting a lot of images in here from magazines, and there's all kinds of stuff in here. So this has been wonderful. I'll talk more about it later. So basically, I've got this book, this book, this book, and then I also have this little notes book in here. I think that's basically all I use. Oh, except for my one more book. I have a growth book that's like a spiritual journal that I am still breaking in. I haven't quite got the hang of it yet, and I mostly use it for notes, for like Bible study and stuff. So that's another journal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 book July. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love working out this stuff with you guys. I think it's good to, I don't know, I just like to share, and it's nice to have people to talk to about planning and journaling, because if you're here, you're probably as obsessed as I am. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing, and what, if you've done a 1 book July wrap-up video, I want to see it. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you're well, and I will see you around.